Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for coming upstairs. I wanted to, a couple of things just before we start. I just wanted to let everyone know that every session that's been in this room is recorded and will be posted. The sessions in the breakout rooms are not recorded, but the slides will all be available, and then you can contact the people directly. The reason we did that is honestly, there's not a lot of people looking at that stuff and clicking. And if they do look at it, they don't look at it for an hour. They look at it for 4 minutes because our attention span has disappeared. So I just wanted to make sure you knew that. I also had a couple of conversations with some people that didn't come up on the advocacy panel about we are working, and one of the things that we heard from the roundtables and the sales agreements was if a brewery chose to add a delivery charge onto their billing, that should be the brewery's choice and the customer's choice. It shouldn't be the government's choice, and currently you're not allowed to do that. So they heard that message loud and clear. I just wanted to let you know that that's another thing that we have on our agenda that we've been working with. So everyone knows that. We are now going to do the industry update for the BC Ale Trail. Monica Frost, as you all know, I will say it as I have every year, the best hire ever for us. She is now, as I said this morning, the BC Ale Trail has taken on a life of its own for several years now. Monica's superpower is being able to marry what the Destination BC people require for funding and what our needs are and your needs are as brewers. And that's why we get the maximum amount of funding pretty much every year. So Monica does a fantastic job. She'll be joined by Chris Knorr. Chris Knorr is like the wizard behind the curtain. He's been I met Chris when I first took over. This is actually a funny story, and I shouldn't talk so long, but I think it's funny. When I took over, they were saying, oh, we get this, got the invoices, some invoices, pretty, not really a lot of accounting like we did back 12 years ago or 11 years ago. And we kept getting a bill from the number. And everyone's like, oh yeah, it's a numbered company. I'm like, a numbered company? Well, what do they charge us for? It's a numbered company. We don't know. I'm like, but you pay for it. Like, how do you not know? And all of a sudden, I get the new bill, and it's the number charging us for our website. And I'm like, it doesn't matter who it was. I say to them, you got to be kidding me. It's not the numbered company. The company is called The Number, and they maintain our website. So I phone over to the number, and I'm like, hey, I'm with the BC Craft Brewers. Oh my God, you guys, we've been trying to talk to somebody there. And so I went over, and they have the super cool, funky place in Rock Bay. And Chris has been there from day one. Chris's team has worked with us from day one. Chris and our team, the start of the BC Ale Trail, there was tons of communication with that. So Chris is literally the puppet master behind the curtain for the BC Ale Trail. So I'm going to bring Monica up first to talk, and then Chris. Thanks very much.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Monica.
Hi. I'm happy to be here today to talk to you all, and it's so great to see all your faces again. I'm going to do a quick little review for anyone who's newer as a brewery, just so that you understand what the BC Ale Trail is, how it was formed, all of that important information. Sorry, can you make that any bigger? I can't see that at all. Thank you, there you go. Perfect. All right, so first and foremost, the BC Ale Trail is a tourism marketing program. We were created in support of the BC craft beer sector. And why I say that is so that you understand we are partly funded by Destination BC, which is all about tourism marketing. So to be able to satisfy what we need to do to get that funding is we need to really lean into the tourism aspect of what we're doing. We have over 220 breweries. We have 21 ale trails, and we work with over 60 DMOs, destination marketing organizations, around the province. So back in 2016, a bunch of people got together, Joe, Ken, Chris, The Number, Paul Kamen from Sunshine Coast Tourism. They all had this idea that, hey, we should put together this ale trail. And this is what happened. They got together, they formed a consortium, and they applied for funding with Destination BC. And that's how it all started. Back in 2019, Destination BC declared craft beer as its own sector. So we were able to take that on as the BC Craft Brewers Guild as the lead administrator. And that's when I came on board. So you've got our leadership team there, Ken, the Guild board, and myself. And then my content team, which I certainly could not do this job without, Lundy, Juliana, Tamara, and Paula, and Joe. What are our goals as the BC Ale Trail? Of course, generating awareness of BC as a world-class beer destination. But we're also driving consumer awareness, which will enhance revenues for our brewery members and ancillaries working with us. We're supporting collaboration with the DMOs, but also the breweries and the sectors. Building a positive brand which supports diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. So one of the things that I think it's important to explain just really quickly is DBC guidelines. We get a document every year that describes, what we need to satisfy in order to get this funding. And one of the things that we cannot do is we cannot create tactics to solely around promoting events. So if you're ever wondering why we don't get more involved with promoting your craft beer week, that's why. We're not technically allowed to put a lot of money into the promotion of a craft beer week, but what we do is create a sip and stay campaign around your craft beer week to drive people to travel to your community and attend your craft beer week. So there's always a method around what we're doing. If you're ever wondering why it's not purely about the beer and why it's not just about your event. The content that we create has to live on our website. Photo and video assets must closely align with Destination BC's style guidelines. And we're scored based on our use of inclusive marketing, visitor education, seasonal and regional dispersion. And that's something that Ken mentioned earlier today. We're not going to really lean into promoting summer events because summer's already really busy in BC. People are at capacity. So what we're looking at is those fall, winter, and spring things that you're working on and getting people to move around in those seasons. A few stats, because everybody always wants to see stats, but if you're interested in, the top 10 audience demographics, where are people from that are landing on our website, what our social media stats are at, there you are. I mentioned sector collaborations, so examples of ones that we've worked with in the past couple of years. BC Farmers Markets. Many of you are selling beer at the farmers markets. It seems like a perfect opportunity for us to collaborate. Mountain Biking BC, Golf BC, Camping and RVing in BC, Fishing BC, Paddle BC. We're looking at every opportunity that we can to reach new audiences that maybe just don't know about the BC Ale Trail, want to learn more about BC craft beer, or already have a love of BC craft beer and maybe think about, pairing that activity with the perfect après going to a brewery. Where does your $250 go that you pay into every year? We're really busy. We're doing a lot of stuff. So as of January 1, there's already 41 blogs up on the website, 10 e-newsletters. We do our brewery and regional spotlights. We have a Brew New page, which is our way of getting around the media ban. You can't share media stories on social media anymore. That's all been blocked. But what we've done is we host those stories on our website, and then we share the link to our website with a featured story. That's our way to get that out there. We do a lot of branded promo items. You've seen our hoodies, our coasters, t-shirts, all of that kind of stuff. Well, that goes out to breweries who request it, but then it also goes out to Our visitor centers around the province, we work with over 30 of those around BC. We also have that out at our consumer shows and festivals, just getting the brand out there for everyone to see. And then our website and our app content. This year, we activated at 5 different consumer shows, which is what it's technically called, but a festival. So there's the examples there of where we've traveled around the province. And just in case you look at that and you're like, oh, well, those are all pretty close to Vancouver. Well, we actually did go to Prince George and Cranbrook as well in the last 18 months. And we're just about to start looking at where we're going to go for our next 5 next year. So definitely reach out to us if you'd love to have the BC Ale trailer there representing beer at a festival that you're participating in, or maybe a festival that you're running. So this year, so far, we've poured beer from over 30 breweries around the province to over 9,000 different attendees. Other things that we're working on, if you're on Vancouver Island and you're in the Vancouver Island Ale Trail Part 1 or 2, we are going to now be splitting that into 3 different ale trails, and we'll start work on that next month. We have the Central Coast, the West Coast, and the Northern Island. All of the DMOs are on board, and we're really excited to create these 3 new trails. We're in the sales cycle, which is our annual cycle each year in September and October, where I reach out to the 60 DMOs that we work with, and we offer them a menu of different marketing tactics that they can choose to buy and work on to help promote their region and the breweries in their region. So some of the things that you're probably already familiar with are things like the tasting passports. We have influencer campaigns. We've got our print maps, social media campaigns, print ads. We added a few new things this year, such as we're looking at Alberta and Washington audiences for a lot of different things that we're targeting. So we've got some new opportunities for print ads. Bell Media, Astro posters and billboards. Do you want to have a poster on the bathroom stall at the stadiums, advertising your brewery or your community? I mean, you think about how many people go to a Whitecaps game. You know, do you want that opportunity to have your brand up there on a bathroom stall? Zoomer Media, Daily Hive, and Curiosity are a couple of the media outlets that still actually can share somewhat on social media or their website or e-newsletters. Road Trip Journals, we're looking at working with US and Alberta content creators, Chorus Radio, and other opportunities. So I don't know if you saw, but a couple of weeks ago I sent out an email, and I'm really hoping you get these emails that we're spending time putting together and sending out to you. But it was just a little bit of an SOS or an alert to say, hey, you know what? A bunch of brewery Instagrams are getting shut down by Instagram or Meta right now, and you need to protect yourself. We don't really know exactly why this is happening. I've gone on a deep dive through Reddit, and I've seen that it's happening at breweries across Canada and the United States. And the general consensus is it's because of the new age restrictions that they're bringing in. So if you didn't read that email or you didn't take it on board, I urge you to go into your Instagram account and make sure that you have set the age restrictions so that underage people for alcohol guidelines cannot follow your page or be part of your content. If something happens where maybe you've got a disgruntled customer or a group of friends decide to target you and they report you to Instagram, Instagram are going to go through your page with a fine-tooth comb. And if you're not following the guidelines, especially for alcohol, that gives them a reason to shut you down. And I don't know if any of the breweries here, have had that happen. It's very hard to get it back, and it takes a long time. So don't give them that reason to be able to do that to you. Make sure that you've gone in and just set the minimum standards for the age restrictions for your Instagram page. And that kind of brings up another thing on my wish list. My wish list is that every brewery would just create a marketing@abcbrewery.com email so that when we have important things to share with you, we know that it would always get to that person who's doing the marketing, or maybe it's tasting room manager at abcbrewery.com, just because there are a lot of important things that we share from time to time with breweries, and we want to make sure that it doesn't just go to the one email that we're given who gets all the emails for the brewery and just doesn't have time to distribute that down to various people within your organization that needs that information. Sometimes it's really important information about a campaign that potentially, your DMO has spent a lot of money on, that we're collaborating with them on. That's really important that your brewery has all the information and are on board for. So yeah, just a little wish list thing there. If you were able to create one generic email that we could have that doesn't change every 3 months so that we know that that information is getting to you, that would be so amazing. Other things that your $250 goes into, as well as the baseline that your DMO pays, is our fall campaigns. So you might have seen that we have our Sip and Stay campaign that's on right now. It's something that we've been running now for 3 years, and this year we have over 80 accommodation partners around the province partnering with us on the Sip and Stays. These are running primarily for October and November, but a lot of the hotels have chosen to run them for longer. This year we brought in the BC Ale Trail Brewery voucher, so thank you to everybody who has agreed to opt into that, where we're offering a buy one, get one offer, buy a pint or a flight, get a free pint or a flight. So folks that book the Sip and Stays will be given this when they check in at their hotel, and this is our way to get them in your door when they're in destination. Now, as Ken mentioned earlier, this is something that is also very important to Destination BC. It's our way to align with what their marketing strategies are and get people traveling around the province. One of the other fall campaigns that we put together this year was something a little different than what we've done in the past. In the past, we've had the best brewery experience, and that was great, but I wanted to try something a little new this year. I looked at what the CBC was doing, and they had, Best Small Town. They had all of these really fun competitions running, and I thought, well, our breweries really are community hubs. Why not lean more into the community aspect of it and try and, gain a bigger audience of people that will want to naturally gravitate towards our breweries for things like knit nights or after baseball parties, all of those things that they do. Our breweries are gathering spaces. So why not reward the communities who are doing that really well? So we ran this competition. We had 3 different tiers. We marketed the heck out of it, and we've got the winners to announce here today. We worked with Hatch Communications to pitch a story to media around BC, and that resulted in over 15 million reach via print, web, and radio, over 25 million reach via global TV coverage. We ran stories, we had earned media stories picked up in all of those communities mentioned. So all in all, it was a very successful campaign as far as reaching new audiences. So the winners are, the first tier was communities with 1 or 2 breweries. Tofino was voted top community. Is anyone here from Tofino Brewing? Okay. The next was communities with 3 to 5 breweries. And I just will add, it's 3 to 5 breweries that are members of the Guild and the BC Ale Trail. Port Moody won for 3 to 5 breweries. Congratulations. And for 6+, Victoria. And then we added, just for fun, what's your favorite brewery? Cattery. I know Cattery's here. Congratulations, everyone. So this is the first we've announced it. Next week, we will start a series of social media campaigns and different things to celebrate that. But we just wanted to announce it here. We thought it would be kind of fun. So some of the other things that we're working on moving forward is a little bit of a shift in some of our campaigns. We've done a lot of paid social media. I don't know about you, I'm getting tired of seeing paid social media ads on Instagram and Facebook. It seems to be a lot of them, and I feel like people are just flicking past them. We did a little bit of a think tank, and with the help from Sam at Parkside, who's on the Guild board, we're looking at getting into buying some signage at BCLs. You know, I walk into the BCL in my local community and I see all these, you know, different opportunities for signage. I'm like, why isn't the BCL trail up there? And I'm looking at people and I want to just sit there and watch what they're buying, and then I want to run after them and go, why did you get that? Like, why didn't you get that? You know, like, why aren't you buying local? And, you know, part of it is we just need to get more in their face. We need to think of other opportunities to reach more audiences, and I just don't think that paid social media is necessarily the best way to continue putting so much effort into. So working with Sam and the Guild board, we are going to be looking at some BCL signage. We're also looking more so into YouTube campaigns. YouTube is growing in leaps and bounds. Our page has definitely started growing quickly, so this is one opportunity that we're looking at. And I just wanted to remind everyone that, you know, all of the photo and video content that we create for the BC Ale Trail, you have access to. If at any time you would like the Ale Trail video or a version of the video or the photos, please just ask us. We would love for you to share the BC Ale Trail video from your own social media or from your YouTube. It's all there for you to use. You know, at one time or another, it has been sent to you, but again, people change, they come and go. You know, it just hasn't been passed along. So anytime you want something, it's all there for you to use. And, you know, your DMO as well will have lots of assets that they've spent time and money building, and they would be happy for you to share. I had someone ask me earlier, you know, I'm looking for this type of photo and I couldn't find it. I looked at, you know, using some AI to create it, and I just said, we have all of that. Just ask us for it. We're more than happy to give it to you, and we would really love if you shared that kind of content. You know, if every brewery shared their Ale Trail video, even just once a year, think of how many more people we would be reaching and increasing that audience and that love for BC craft beer. We have lots of fun things planned, but we really need your help to help us get the word out there, get the branding out there. It's that recognition. And that's it for me. One thing that I didn't talk about is our website and our app. We are in the process of migrating aspects of our website over to a new platform, and we're really excited about this. And you all know that we have a new app. Well, this is what Chris is here to talk to us about today, and kind of, he's the visionary. He is the best person to describe where this is all going. So I'm happy to hand over to Chris. Thanks, everyone.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Ken sat down next to me and he said, that story about the number was funnier in my head. He missed half the story. The joke of the story is that we were a creative agency, and we were a numbered company because we spent so much time arguing about what we should brand ourselves as that we ran out of time, so we just were a numbered company, and then for years after, we just ended up calling ourselves The Number. So 20 years later, we actually are a numbered company, but we call ourselves The Number. So that's the last half of your thing. Well, not when you hear the punchline 30 minutes later. I gotta take a picture of you guys here. I gotta send it to Trump so he sees how big my audiences are. Okay. Oh, so we're tracking then, me and him. Yeah, so I'm here. Thanks for sticking it out. We're near the end. I hope everybody's had at least one drink, so I feel like I've got better odds. Ken and Monica asked me here to just give a bit of a quick update on the BC Ale Trail app, where we're at today, about 90 days into the app launch, and where we're going. So just a little bit about me, Chris, The Number Creative, and we've talked about a bit about that. And then I'm also wearing another hat today. Turismo is a software product that we've built over the last 4 years, really inspired by the BC Ale Trail as sort of the original progenitor of it, but now is used in campaigns across Canada and in many campaigns here in BC. So yeah, also, in case anybody's confused, I'm the same Chris Knorr that founded Victoria Beer Week 10 years ago, and the principal behind Great Canadian Beer Fest since Jerry retired. So I guess I'm kind of a beer industry guy, even though I'm not a brewer. Yeah, we've been the creative partner on the BC Ale Trail since its inception, and I guess I want to say, like, I'm really proud of what the BC Ale Trail has become. It has for those of you that don't necessarily swim around in the world of tourism a bunch, it really is a star campaign in the tourism sector. Destination BC looks to us as like setting the benchmark for some of the best campaigns out there and the best KPIs and metrics, and really considered like a crown jewel of craft beer tourism in Canada. And I believe has been a really meaningful business driver and a brand ambassador for the craft beer industry in BC. We've generated, I don't know what the exact number is, but it must be closing in on over $2 million that has been spent over the last 7 or 8 years, more maybe. Just directly with the spirit and intent of promoting craft beer and travel as it relates to craft beer. I especially want to give a kudos to Monica, which Ken, you stole my thunder a little bit, but I'm going to do it again, who really does work tirelessly and diligently behind the scenes day in, day out to ensure that the BC Ale Trail's marketing is delivering value to you. If she ever gets a little spicy, just know that she really, truly has your interests at heart and that she's got like 17,000 other things that she's dealing with. So, really I want to give a round of applause to Monica for all of her hard work. Okay, so let's get into this. I'm pretty sure Ken invited me to talk about the app so that I could take the heat for all of the problems that everybody felt they were having in their tasting rooms as we kind of went through this transition. And I really want to thank everybody. I know there was, we had some challenges a little bit in the beginning, and I really appreciate everyone's patience and support as we undertook the Herculean effort of migrating about 10,000 active users to a completely new platform. For anybody who has a background or any kind of experience in dealing with technology, there's no easy migrations. Nothing is ever smooth, especially where you have 10,000 end users involved. And people are inherently resistant to change, and there are always issues. So yeah, in the vein of that, who here had someone complain to them about the new app in their tasting room? Oh, that's less than I thought. I was kind of figuring we'd be like 80%. I know our support team fielded over 2,000 emails of customer issues during that transitionary process. We originally had, I think, somewhere in the area of around 29,000 emails of people who had, at one point over the past 7 or 8 years, signed up. We ended up activating about 10,000 of them, which is honestly a really, really good return rate, considering that some of those people are probably long gone to Japan by now. So we feel like we had a really good uptake in terms of that. Many of the issues were just based on things like, inability to follow basic instructions, doesn't know what their email address is, various vitriolic assaults on the team and various lenses. Some pretty hilarious screenshots went around as we were pumping out response emails, trying to maintain our professionalism when people are acting like crazy. But some were legitimate. We had some real challenges around the configuration issues around locations and boundaries and ensuring that we would be able to provide integrity check-ins, and we've kind of worked through all of that now. And some were legit bugs that we had to fix. The vast majority of the issues, though, on balance, about 73% of them or so, according to the support stats, were human issues. And our support team and the Ale Trail team, I think, did a really great job of patiently working people through as they got back on the Ale Trail. One of the things we were able to do is we were kind of refining the check-ins. We start gathering check-in data. We're able to actually refine the boundaries and define not just where Google thinks your brewery is, but where your brewery actually is. So now we're having pretty much 100% success rate with check-ins. The signal or the signal-to-noise ratio of problem check-ins has basically gone down to nil, so we're in pretty good shape there now. Personally, I see that level of engagement and the fact that the moment we flicked a switch, a whole bunch of people started losing their shit, is a really good indicator of the level of engagement and commitment people have to the platform. We have over 500 check-ins a day. Easily, like on busy weekend days, we have 10,000 plus check-ins a month at least. And I think it's just a really good indicator. In fact, across the 8 different campaigns that we're running on this platform right now, and with that app, this is by far and away the most engaged audience. So yeah, it was a bit painful, but here we are now, and we have some really positive indicators of acquisition and retention. So a couple of key highlights here. I just grabbed this screenshot from the App Store, so this isn't reflective of Android. It's not a total data set, but it's a pretty good indicator. It's about 70% of the audience. We've had a 250% increase, over 200% increase in impressions and product page views. A lot of that has to do with just the general momentum around it, the sort of robot algorithms in the stores tend to prioritize your apps if you get more activity. And we have refreshed the look and feel in the App Store and stuff like that as well, so there's new stuff there. A big one for me is this 8% increase in session time. That's really huge. Session time is everything because it really speaks to the stickiness of the app, and that's a comparative to the previous 90 days with the old app, these new app, 90 days. So that's actually, while it's not a huge number, it's pretty hard to move the dial on that one, so I feel really good about that. And then while we had a number of check-in issues, we've had very few crashing issues. So we have had an 86% reduction in crashes. One of the challenges of the old platform was a bit of aging infrastructure, and it wasn't receiving as much investment from the provider anymore, and was just really having a hard time keeping up with the volume of data and activity. So that's, I guess, a couple of little quick highlights there. I want to also say that I think creating a positive experience out of a negative one is a really proven way to build customer loyalty too. So I think by being on the other side of this, we've kind of really re-engaged with that audience, and we have a really good opportunity now to kind of build on that relationship and go forward with a bunch of exciting new things. Okay, what's next? So in addition to just the sort of the forward-facing or the outward-facing, the acquisition and the retention side of things, we've seen really solid improvements in app check-ins. So here's a 30-day comparison, day on day, so it's kind of, we didn't have previous check-in data that we could compare in the same way. So we picked August to September, and we had a 20% increase in check-ins, which is pretty good. And a couple of things that we feel like are driving this is we do have an improved UX experience. It's research-based, it's battle-tested across a bunch of other platforms, so we really knew already that it was going to work better, and I think that's sort of further indicative of that. We also have more content now because, as Monica mentioned, we're transitioning to a Turismo-centric platform for the web and the app, so we'll be able to, it's much more efficient for the content management team to be able to keep things up to date, keep it synced between different platforms, and be able to have richer content on the app because it doesn't have to be done twice. It just gets done once, and then it just delivers on both platforms. Another thing that we've just started, some of you may have noticed the weekly quizzes. There's one going to be up in an hour or two. It's a Friday 4 to 8 p.m. pop-up quiz, 6 to 8 questions. We've had roughly about 100 or so people filling it out in various levels of consistency and success in terms of accuracy. There's a points reward for that. It's kind of it's our first pilot into a whole new phase of activations that we can do with those types of tools, and we'll talk about that in a minute. One of the fun things out of the quizzes is looking at the answers and figuring out what people do. I don't know if you can see it there, but according to this, 12%, 15% of people think that session ale is hazy and or hoppy, but most of them did get lower alcohol. So it might be some interesting insights there. There's a bunch of other stats, and we'll talk about that when we get into it a little bit. How am I doing on time? Okay. Next, let's talk a little bit about empowering breweries. So one of Turismo's superpowers is enabling operators to be able to claim their listings, access the analytics specific to their operation, and manage some aspects of it. So next week, you guys will all be receiving an invite. Actually, I will only send it to a marketing email, so you better get on that if you want to be on it. You'll be receiving an invite from Turismo. Actually, it'll be the email that you have on file on the website. So. Allowing you to claim your listing, and then you'll be able to access all your web and mobile analytics. You'll be able to see who's checking in, what that check-in behavior looks like, when and where, time of day, all that kind of stuff, as well as all of the web traffic that is pertinent to you. So in terms of page listings, if you have an e-commerce link or a booking link of any kind through out there, you'll be able to see all of those stats as well. With that invite email, you'll get I'm not going to do a tour right now, but you'll get some onboarding information, and our support team is there to support you as you kind of learn to navigate that. It's quite a bit that you can do with it in terms of enriching your listing, and it's really important to note that type of content enrichment, specifically highlighting events, really definitely helps raise your brewery's profile on both mobile and web and gives us more material to help drive visitation. So it's really supporting the Ale Trail team that is already doing that work, gives them more bullets in the gun, so to speak, to fire out there. So then that acts as like a resource for them to be able to do more promotion on your behalf, enabling you to get more out of your BC Ale Trail marketing. Yeah, well, that's a note from you, Monica. I just realized it. She edits. Too late. It's already happened. So focusing on what's next. Is that going to go? Okay. So as of today, push notifications are live, which is really cool. And there's a couple of things happening there that are going to be neat. So for events that are tagged to your location, so any upcoming events, your trivia nights, and all that kind of stuff, we're introducing automated event notifications. So basically anybody who has checked in at your brewery in the last 30 days and has enabled push notifications and you have an upcoming event in the system, it will automatically send them a push notification on the morning of saying, hey, it's trivia night at Wayback or whatever it is. And that's just a completely automated system that is just all about creating direct marketing opportunities for you guys. And with that login, you guys will have the ability to send push notifications as well to that targeted group. So it's pretty cool because it kind of puts tools in your guys' hands, a new channel that you'll be able to communicate. I mentioned the pop-up quiz. That was our pilot project, just kind of working the kinks out of the workflow for it and systems for it and figuring out what the adoption is like. We have a whole series of challenges. We call them challenges, but scavenger hunts, photo contests, pop-up tasting room challenges that we're all currently ideating right now as we go into the winter season. And we'll be reaching out to you guys to talk about collaborating on those things. Some of them are passive. I've gone off script now, so hang on. Make sure I'm saying everything easy. Some of them are passive in that you don't have to do anything. They're sort of self-serve. Some of them are a bit more proactive, like hiding a gnome somewhere in your tasting room or something like that for a scavenger hunt. And we'll be following on with a little bit more detail around that as we kind of like figure out what those things kind of look like. Some of the functionality to kind of like put your brain thinking about it. We can do surveys, kind of like the quiz, where you have like a correct answer, incorrect answer, or just asking for feedback. They can be short and they can be long. There's the geo check-in kind of capability. There's a QR code scanning capability, and they can be combined in multiple steps. So we've had some really fun successes with like the BC Farmers Market this year, doing scavenger hunts around farmers markets. Previously for the Beer Society, we did Gnome Quest, which was hiding a gnome at different breweries. For any of the Victoria breweries, you might remember that. And it's great because it just creates another entertaining gamification kind of activity, a reason for them to maybe stick around for another pint or head down to one more brewery. Yeah, so sort of new challenges and surveys. But really the big one is really just collaboration and working with you guys. What are your ideas around things that, activations that we can support you with? We have a very powerful framework now and a set of tooling that enables a lot more. We're putting that tooling in your hands, and we have the support resources to make sure that you guys are capable of using that and empowering it. So yeah, let's create something together. If you have any kind of activations, like I think of Trivia Nights as a really good example. There's lots of ways that you could leverage the platform to bring your Trivia Nights a little bit more dynamically to life. And lots of other things there. So let's get that dialogue going. I'm here to talk about it. Absolutely, I'm here for the rest of the day, and that's my email right there. I guess that's a little bit about the BC Ale Trail app experience. I think I've covered everything else, except I do have one more thing. Is this going to do something? Oh, I just hit the wrong button. Uh-oh. There we go. One more thing. So this is kind of fun. In 2025, we're going to be launching BC Ale Trail ticketing in-app and web. It's a comprehensive ticketing platform that obviously Beerfest, Beer Week, we're working on a partnership with other beer festivals throughout the province. And basically, it's a baked-in ticketing platform that enables us to control the handling fees for the tickets and provide a fee kickback to participating breweries. So if you're participating in Great Canadian Beer Fest next year, you will receive a portion of that ticket handling fee as a kickback post-event. And that's me wearing two hats. Oh, I got a clap for that. That's cool. Thank you. I'm very passionate about it. I know that the industry is struggling and feeling that downward pressure on income. We as a festival, we can relate to that. We're feeling those same pressures, and so leveraging some of the other relationships we have with the company and the software and the technology, we put the effort into to build this framework to be able to support that. And it's actually it's the same platform we've been using for the last couple of years for our festivals on the South Island. So it's pretty battle tested. And yeah, we're really excited to take that out and roll it out much more broadly. In addition to the beer festivals and that component of it, this ticketing platform will also be available to you guys. So you can use this as an alternative to Eventbrite or Showpress. There's no cost to you, but you will get the benefit of that nominal kickback as well. And, oh, more clapping, all right. Where's Ken? You hearing this? They're clapping. And another one really important is just like being able to capture that revenue, from those people. So it's like if they are or aren't coming or they're kind of on the fence, this is an opportunity for you to get that commitment from them. It's kind of a typical marketing tactic is you solicit the commitment to buy and they're much more likely to attend an event that they may have been a bit on the fence on. So that kind of user commitment piece. And also it just allows you to leverage the BC Ale Trail, which is a very effective marketing engine that gets hundreds of thousands of views already across its platforms to increase your event sales. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it about that. Are we doing questions, Ken, or are you gonna? Does anybody have any questions? Sure. Do you want to do mics, or you can just yell? I can yell. We're at the informal part of this.
I've given up. So on the BC Ale Trail app,
Yep.
I have quite a few guests who absolutely love your Pop Quiz Fridays.
Great.
So I'm just on it right now, and I'm curious why it says coming soon.
So it only runs from 4 to 8 p.m. So we currently have it as it just kind of currently runs from 4 to 8 p.m. Like I said, we're kind of doing a soft pilot right now where we're not really driving traffic to it. We wanted to do a few weeks of just kind of getting a feel for it and seeing what the natural adoption of it was like. And then we have a few ideas around enhancing that. And then we'll start driving traffic through socials and all of that kind of stuff as well. And we'll feature it a little bit more aggressively.
Well, I've had positive feedback, so thank you.
That's great. Awesome. That's really great to hear. Thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah, you mentioned the push notification.
Yep.
Do you have an ad or a social media thing that we could all put on our own accounts to promote people to download the app and enable the push feature so that when we do trivia nights, our customers get notificated?
Absolutely. Yeah.
We haven't done it yet just because we kind of soft launched it. We're testing it. It's working out the kinks, but yeah, we can definitely put something together.
Yeah. Any other questions? No? Everybody's good? Great. Awesome. Okay. Thank you very much for your time.